is Saren Talbot, and today I did something I thought I'd never do. I told Calla June I still loved her. I hadn't seen her in 3 years, not since she moved away for graduate school, and we quietly drifted into our own lives. Life went on the way it always does. But sometimes, even when time moves, your feelings stay right where you left them. It all started with a wedding invitation. Her name printed in gold, a soft pastel card, a date circled in red, tomorrow. I stared at it for hours. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was frozen. She was marrying someone else, and I had never told her how I truly felt. Back in college, we were close. Study partners, midnight snack buddies. She used to sit cross-legged on my dorm floor, reading out loud from mystery novels, while I pretended to listen and just admired the way her hair curled near her ears. But I never said anything, because I thought we had forever. And now, she was getting married tomorrow. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I walked the city, past old bookstores we once visited, a park bench where we shared a rain-soaked pizza, even the tiny tea shop where she once said, "You make rainy days better." She never knew I remembered that. Calla was always warm, the kind of person who made strangers feel like old friends. I always believed she deserved someone who could match her brightness, and maybe that's why I stayed quiet. But as dawn broke over the skyline, I felt something shift, a soft courage, a quiet urgency. Maybe she should know. I wasn't trying to stop her wedding. I wasn't here to rewrite fate. I just wanted her to know, once, that she was loved, truly, fully, quietly. I borrowed my roommate's old bike and rode across town to the address on the invitation. When I arrived, her house was buzzing. Wedding planners, flowers, last-minute rehearsals, and then she stepped out onto the porch. Calla, same gentle eyes, same slight smile, but this time she looked surprised, and I terrified. "Saren?" She blinked. "What are you doing here?" I opened my mouth, but words refused to cooperate. Instead, I smiled like I had rehearsed it 100 times in my mind. I just wanted to see you." Calla stepped closer, tilting her head the way she used to when curious. "You came all this way, the day before my wedding?" I nodded. There was a long pause. Then she said something unexpected. "Do you want to take a walk?" Just like that, we left the noise behind, the planners, the florists, the questions, and walked through the quiet lane behind her house. The silence was gentle, not heavy, like the old days. "How have you been?" she asked. "Fine," I replied. "Busy? You still drink chamomile tea when you're anxious?" I laughed. "You remember that?" I remember everything. My heart whispered, so do I. We stopped at a wooden bench beneath an old sycamore tree. I used to think about this, she said. Us, sitting together, years later, still able to talk. I looked at her closely, not just the dress rehearsal makeup or the small flower tucked behind her ear. I saw the same soul I once fell for, quietly and completely. Calla, I began, voice barely above a whisper. There's something I need to say. She turned toward me slowly. I didn't come to change your life. I just didn't want to leave this feeling unspoken. I paused. I loved you then, quietly, always. She blinked, surprised. No drama, no gasp, just stillness. I never knew, she said. I never told you. Why now? Because tomorrow is too late. Calla didn't say anything for a long time. The breeze tugged at the petals in her hair, and the sun filtered through the leaves, casting soft patterns on her face. Then she whispered, Saren, I wish you had told me. My heart caught in my throat. She wasn't upset, just thoughtful. I nodded. I know, and I'm not asking you to change anything. I only came to give you the truth, because it mattered, you matter. Calla reached for my hand, just held it, no words. In that one gesture, I felt everything I needed. Acknowledgement, care, peace. I need to go back, she said gently. There's rehearsal dinner, family. Of course. We stood. She smiled. Thank you for telling me. And then she was gone, back into the world where I didn't belong, or so I thought. That night, I sat on a park bench near her house, unsure of why I hadn't left yet. The truth had been said, my heart had been heard, but something about the silence felt unfinished. Suddenly my phone buzzed. A message from Calla. Can you meet me tomorrow morning before everything starts? I stared at the screen. Tomorrow was her wedding day. I replied with one word, yes. I barely slept that night. My thoughts swirled with memories, regrets, and tiny hopes I didn't dare admit. I wasn't here to change her mind, I reminded myself over and over again. I just wanted closure. But as the morning light filtered in, I knew this wasn't just about endings. It was also about understanding the full story, even if it meant saying goodbye with both eyes open. The next morning, I arrived at the park near the lake, our old meeting spot from college. Calla was already there, wearing a light blue sweater over her rehearsal dress. She looked calm but thoughtful. Thanks for coming, she said. Thanks for asking me to. We walked along the lake's edge. Ducks floated in still water. Children laughed in the distance. But between us, there was only quiet understanding. I talked to Owen last night, she said suddenly. The man I'm supposed to marry. I looked up, surprised. Oh? She nodded. I told him someone important from my past had come back and reminded me of something I had locked away. I didn't speak. I just listened. Owen is a wonderful person, kind, steady, but he doesn't know parts of me that you do. She paused, and that made me think, maybe I haven't been fully honest with myself. I held my breath, waiting for her next words. Calla looked out over the lake. When I first met Owen, I told myself it was time to move on. I convinced myself that comfort was enough. She turned toward me. But comfort isn't connection, and what you gave me, what we shared, even in silence, was real. Tears welled in my eyes, not because I expected anything, but because someone finally saw what I had carried all those years. I don't want to make a decision based on fear, she said. I don't want to wonder 5 years from now if I should have asked you to stay. I whispered, then ask. She took a deep breath. Stay, Saren. 2 words, soft, brave, unshaken. And in that moment, everything shifted. The wedding didn't happen that day. Calla met Owen with grace and honesty. There were no arguments, no anger, just mutual understanding and a heartfelt goodbye. That afternoon, we sat on her porch drinking tea, not as old friends, not as lost chances, but as 2 people rediscovering what never truly left. We didn't rush into anything. We went slow. Walks, letters, late-night phone calls. No pressure, just presence. We built something new, not from regret, but from truth. For the first time, I saw her fully, and she saw me. No more secrets, no more silence. Love had been patient, and now it was ready. A year later, under that same sycamore tree, Calla took my hand and said, I almost married a life that looked right, but didn't feel right. I smiled, and I almost stayed silent forever. We both laughed. Our story wasn't grand. It didn't involve dramatic gestures or perfect timing. But it was real, honest, timeless. Now we live in a small home filled with books, music, and slow mornings. We still walk to the lake on Sundays. We still make chamomile tea when we're anxious. And every time we pass by her old wedding invitation, framed quietly on our wall, Calla smiles and says, I'm glad you showed up, and I always reply, so am I. My name is Saren Talbot, and I told her I loved her just one day before her wedding, and somehow that one day was right on time.